Jazz Sessions with Spha Mdlalose on TransAfricaRadio.
And before that, played you Balake Sisonke with Salaman, bringing us to exactly 10 a.m. Central African time. And this is where I say hello to my guest, the incredible Selaelo Selota. Off air, we're having interesting chats about the industry. And I don't know, we've been talking about a lot. What have we been chatting about? On air?
All things music.
All things music.
And tribute.
Great. I feel like I'm the guest, actually. I feel like I'm the guest. How are you, sir?
I'm good, thanks. How are you doing, Spha?
I'm good. Yes, so good to
yes.
see you. So good to have you here on TransAfrica.
Very refreshing to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love the sounds that I'm hearing.
Oh, I'm glad.
Yes.
At what point, growing up as young Selaelo, I know you've had an incredible career spanning over 20 years, and we chatted a bit about that off air. At what point do you think you thought to yourself, I want to be a musician?
I think it was when I first came to Johannesburg. It was one day that I left the mines. I was coming to do some shopping here in Johannesburg, and I came across a school called Fuba.
Yeah.
And I thought, at that time, I was on a crossroad of what do I do? I'm still young. And at that time, if people can remember 1985, those who were alive and born, that's when the mining unions started a lot of unionization, and there were a lot of strikes in the mines. And I was part of that, and I had a very traumatic experience of the harsh realities that faced. And looking at my age that time, I was very young, like 18. I thought, no, I cannot be here.
Yeah.
So when I came to Joburg and bumped across a music school, I told myself, oh, I can learn something new.
Yeah.
And then I can become a musician. And just the thought of it actually jumped up in my heart. And I started having this, my heart was pounding.
Yeah.
Just thinking that I could be a musician. Then I realized that why is it hitting me so hard, like a bolt of a lightning, yet it was just a thought.
Yeah.
When something strikes you like that, you must know inner intuition is giving you direction. You have now found the door. Wow. I actually thought musician was just to be a singer.
Okay.
I never thought I wanted to play guitar. I just wanted to be a musician.
That's incredible.
Or be a star, or be... And the thought of things that come with it, of being seen on TV, of being seen on the newspapers. But more than anything, I was a young person who was struggling. I know there are a lot of young people who struggle at a certain point struggle with self confidence and identity and sitting in with who you are. It was at that time. And I felt music would give me the biggest weapon, will be my biggest weapon to actually accept myself and say, this is who I am.
Yeah. And to find that expression, to be able to express yourself that way.
Yes.
Great. So going to backtrack a little bit. Before or after you've become a miner, because I know that you went to school, and then after school you realized that you couldn't afford to study further.
Yes.
So you thought to yourself, okay, let me go and work in the mines.
Yes.
At what age does this happen, and how long do you work as a miner?
I was 21.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's 3 years, from 18 to...
For around 4 years.
Okay.
Yes. And because I remember very well that I started learning guitar. I bought my first guitar at the age of 22.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And it was not a matter of just choosing the guitar. It was a matter of, they said if you're studying music, because I was learning music theory, you need to learn an instrument. And when I looked at the piano, it was the most expensive instrument. So I got my first guitar, which I thought was actually made for a toy, not something to use. It was 150 rands. And that guitar actually is the one that got me the sound that I still hear in coming out through my fingers today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Okay, so 4 years as a miner. I'm very interested in this because reading your bio, it reads like like something that's not real. It's so incredible that, you come from this background and now you've made such a success of your life. And I wanted to find out from you, I know a lot of your music, a lot of the music that you write is inspired by that time that you spent as a minor.
Yes.
But what else do you think you learned about yourself in those 4 years,
Well, one of the things that I learned, the mining experience gave me something that a lot of people don't get to embrace when they're still in that prime time of their late teen, early 20s. The mining experience, for me, I grew up in a society that only spoke Sepedi, only understood the Sepedi culture and so on.
Yeah.
But being in the mines, I found that at that time, the miners were grouped in different tribal groupings.
Yeah.
And the residences, you find that this block, more like hostels, this block is Zulu block, this block is Xhosa block.
Yeah.
But also in the mine, because of that, each community is encouraged to practice on weekends for leisure. They practice their cultural heritage. They do indlamu, dance, and the songs and so on. So being in the mine, the Venda speaking people, the Tsonga speaking people, and the Pedi speaking people are the minorities. So what happens is that the minorities are not put in a block. They are mixed. So this year I'll stay in a Xhosa block, and you find next year I'm in a Zulu block. And so when I'm in a Zulu block, you find guys, hey, iperilameleli, so and you find that sometimes I sell out. I go and play with the Zulu team, and the guys, the Botswanas are like, and I was a very good soccer player.
Okay,
I was one of the very good soccer players. Possibly I could have played professional football, and I was part of the athletics team in the mines. So that made me very popular before music, and it helped me to be able to get integrated and understand different cultures.
Yeah.
So those 4 years actually brought a South Africa that was missing. I thought I knew a country. I did not know the country, but those 4 years brought a country right in front of me, and I learned so much, and I absorbed the cultures, the languages, and everything. I think that prepared me to, when I get into the music, I was now able to listen to music from all angles, be it Xhosa song or Zulu song and so on.
And so right from that as well, to be able to write lyrics in all of those languages, or at least try.
Yes.
Because you've been exposed to those languages as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think it's probably the best time to play Lolita. You're talking about how you performed Lolita at the Bat Center in Durban.
Yes.
And it was the third song.
My show was, I was going to sing about 8 songs, but I ended up only 3 songs because people couldn't stop singing the song.
Yeah.
I mean, it was recorded just as piano and voice, but there I was playing it with a full band, and it was just, whoa.
Yeah, there was life.
Yes.
Yeah, so we thank the minds. We Selaelo Selota. He's going to be with us for the hour until 11 a.m. Central African time, chatting all things music, chatting all things his incredible life that come up from being a minor to being the successful musician, composer, producer. What else do you do? He used to play soccer. Do you play soccer now?
If I'm thrown, I play it when I'm sitting on my couch. I'm like, why can't I be the coach? Can't he see? And before I watch that game, I will say to myself, I hope that coach saw that last time, the first 15 minutes, if the other team scores, we're never gonna recover.
Yeah.
And it happens again.
So maybe you should get you in contact with Shakes or someone who can put you up in the coaching there. Yeah, I think that's the homework that we'll do here. Here are some sounds from the man that I have in studio. Here's a tune entitled Lolita. So this is what he requested, and that's what we play. That is, I broke the rules today for you, sir. So I hope you're happy. I hope you're happy. And before I played you the sounds of Selaelo Selota, the man of the moment, with Lolita. And he was mimicking himself singing there. on your Zulu hit where you thought you were singing so great.
Yeah,
what are your thoughts on Marikana and what transpired in Marikana? And more specifically about the fact that it's been 5 years after it happened, and a lot of people feel like the government has really failed that community and the people that it made promises to.
Look, Marikana was a long way coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can see it as far back as 1987 while I was in the mines.
Yeah.
Because when we went on strike that time, because we were under the old regime, the mining bosses actually called the 21 Battalion from Potchefstroom.
Oh my goodness.
And they came in with their Caspers and those camouflaged cars, and they came in their uniform. And they entered the blocks I was telling you, the Zulu block and whatever, entering from down there, people jumping from second floor to try and get away from this. And other people I've seen people who were brave enough to walk towards that door carrying a hammer and almost hitting the soldier on the head with the hammer.
Yeah.
So that could have been an earlier Marikana.
Yeah.
Because the miners, when they were trapped up in that place, they retaliated. Now, if you look at the situation, it was the same way. We were fighting for a better living wage.
Yeah.
Now, when you look at what happened in Marikana, the people were also out there on the copy who were fighting for a better living wage.
Yeah.
But there was a barricade fence and stuff like that. And they get to the point where they dare and say, we're going to cross that barrier.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. So it's a tragedy that has been coming, but small segments of that have been happening over the years.
Yeah.
They were just not reported, and they didn't become that much big because the numbers were small. And I fear that we are not over this type of thing yet.
Yeah.
That is my biggest fear.
Yeah.
Because I'm very aware that we living in a very unequal society.
Yeah.
And believe you me, constantly I look, I try to reflect, I try to write a song, and sometimes as a musician you find that I wonder, today we have artists who are afraid to reflect on the social ills and the difficulties that impact our communities. I think that is also one of the tragedies that I'm actually constantly feel depressed about.
Yeah.
And you find yourself in trouble. You bring music like that, you also find that you're almost like you are in trouble.
Yeah.
And your music you become a journalist that need to be silenced.
Yeah.
So I'm in that space.
Okay.
I recorded a song from the Promise album. There's a song called The Promised Land. And you can hear the refrain that I'm using in there is actually talking about the fires that are flaring up all over the country.
Yeah.
And I'm very hopeful that we are still a great nation, that we can still become even the greatest nation, because I'm impacted by everything. I'm impacted by hunger. I'm impacted by, I see it's happening in my family. I'm impacted by crime.
Yeah.
I see it happening in my own yard.
Yeah.
So I still hope that we will recapture the spirit of a greatest nation that the world has looked up to.
I remember having a conversation with someone who said he thinks that and he's a musician himself, and he says he thinks that the primary reason or the primary objective of a musician is to entertain. And I don't know, and I think I agree with you in the sense that I think it's also important for musicians to reflect the times, because we essentially carry that power, to create the soundtrack, to be able to say, this is what's happening, why is it happening? And from that, be able to start conversations and to start dialogues with, with people who listen to the music, who might feel the same way, or those, who don't necessarily agree but will like the song and from the song be engaged, but it's tricky. And I think also how it is in the business. If empty content, nothing
empty
there.
content.
Yeah.
You get it and you listen and you're not getting anything. Music, yes, it will have the elements of entertainment. Yes, it will have the elements of rhythm and dance and so on. But that is one part.
Yeah.
The other biggest part of music is the message. That is the biggest part. You cannot say the message is entertaining. Okay? Yeah, we can do a song that is more of a celebratory kind of song. We're partying. It's great. But the biggest part of music is still message. Be it message of hope, be it message of joy, be it message of pain, be it message. But that message, if it's a message that has to change people's thinking, then it's very important. Then let's do a lot of that messaging, because then we need it right now.
More than ever.
Yes.
And I guess this brings me to my next question about what it is that you've been working on. We haven't had an album from you in a while.
Well,
where are the messages? We want these messages that you speak of.
There's a lot of music that has been written. And because of you say where the messages, the messages are coming. Hence, I've been telling people that I am more convinced, not even tempted. I've written enough material to now cover 3 albums.
Okay.
So the music is coming. I've been promising people that the music is coming, and yes, it is coming. They will see it they will hear it before the end of this year.
Okay, great.
And yes, it will be more than one project that communicates where I am going and where I've been and who am I. That still anchors the Selaelo Selota essence that people have known. But I think I'll be bringing other parts that have been downplayed. One of the projects that I'll be embarking on is that of a jazz project.
Okay.
Which I will work with. I'm looking forward to working with the people who are carrying the torch every day.
Yeah.
Who walk the walk. I haven't walked my walk in the jazz space.
Yeah.
I've been much more in the mainstream. Basically because as a musician, I got to the point where I had to understand that it's important to build a brand and to actually understand the business part of music. And that has been what I've been pushing in the mainstream. So there is an album for that as well that is coming.
Great.
Hopefully one day I will also produce soon an album with a probably a collaboration of a classical musician and not classical and jazz, but classical and a traditional elements.
Yes. I once heard something that someone told me about you. Apparently you have a book and you've just written all these songs, like over 100 songs. Is that true?
No, but look, Spha, I don't even think I went to university to study to play music. Hence, when I went to UCT, I actually registered. I majored in composition.
Yeah.
I'm a composition major graduate, composition and arrangement. So the aim is still to write as many songs as I can. I have a lot of songs, but some of them, you write songs and you ask yourself, is it worth recording this song and releasing it up to the public, or will it just be one of my songs that one day people, when they look into my catalog, they will find material. As musicians, as legendary it has been, we've always found people coming up with music post their era.
Yeah.
I think that will happen to a lot of musicians, because some of the songs we write, we never actually bring them to the fore. You're going to find songs coming up, never heard before. The guy, the man is not even here anymore. So we continue writing. Yeah, I think I've got a lot of songs.
Yeah.
some of them are the ones that I say, should I say it? Should I not say it? Will I be in trouble if I say this? Yeah.
Will I get booked ever? Or
exactly.
Yes.
Interesting.
Some people have dreams. Some people.
I was sleeping. and I just dreamt this song. And
it's so like deep and romantic. And what would you say is your process?
Let me not diss people. Ne? Dreaming is possible. I think I dreamt before.
Okay.
But when I dreamt, I didn't dream a song as a composition. I would dream being in a place where it's celebration, we're having a good time, and there's this song playing. Only when I wake up, I come to my sense, I realize, but that's not my song.
Yeah.
But in my case, what I discovered that is actually such songs are not really, by the time you try to put them on paper or play them, a lot of that song is already lost.
It's gone, yeah.
Because it was in your dream. You'll find that you remember the melody a little bit.
Yeah.
And if you have the courage to continue and develop that melody, it's great. I might have developed something probably in from my dreams. But mostly I get musically, my musical thinking or my musical ear gets tricked. It gets ignited by many things.
Okay.
It can be a moment whereby I'm passing, or I'm in the middle of a road and two cars are passing, and both are playing music loud, but different songs. The clash of sounds
inspire
can
something.
spark a new thing.
Yeah.
I try to listen to those songs as the cars drive away. I try to listen to the songs at the same time, and then I get a center of where they hook each other in the middle, and that becomes a new song. But actually, I sit down when I write. I sit down, strike a few chords,
okay,
or try to write a melody and ask myself, why would this note be bida bida? Why can't I say bida bidi or bidi boy?
Okay.
And I play around with notes like that. That came about through my when I was studying classical arrangement with Professor Tlatso.
Okay.
When you're given 5 notes that are not really related at
To each
all
other.
musically, and then you are asked to create almost a suite or a movement of five small movements with
Yeah.
that. Yeah, so that practice is now what I still use. I engage notes, different notes, and try to link them into a melody. But sometimes it's very easy. I can be in my garden and a bird just says, instead of thinking of that melody the bird did, I think of the rhythm. Da, 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 da.
Oh.
And then I try to see which instrument can I actually assign that rhythm. Could it be a bass? Could it be the drum? Could it be the guitar?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it can. The piano upper register above the middle C can sound nice, crispy, and cutting
And
through.
sweet, yeah.
Yes, so I think like that.
And still joined here by Selaelo Selota. The time now is 10:38. Got about 20 minutes with this man, but I have to play my favorite, and I have a backstory with this one. I first heard you perform Tripa at the Cape Town International Jazz Festival.
Yes.
I remember you wearing white pants, and at that point your top was off.
Oh.
And it was the most incredible thing I've experienced. There was just an energy in that, and it was the big. What's that big? It's a big venue. It was at the big venue.
Yes, I don't know whether it's the Roses or
People were losing their minds. I don't know how long the song went on for, but it was almost as if we were caught in a trance.
8 minutes,
Yeah.
40 seconds.
8 minutes, yeah.
The energy that I drive from that song, it actually sends me in that trance, because I think that is the song that I used in my career for the past 20 years to actually break through certain barriers where I'm performing even if to an audience of maybe European audience or black people or in Canada, where they are very much rigid, they want you to speak French or whatever. When I play that song, they don't care about the language anymore.
Yeah.
So I've used that song in many spaces whereby, as I said earlier, what I find today very startling is that black radio today, black public radio today, tend to want to play music that only is from the languages they speak.
Yeah, yeah.
And that, but with Trpa, it crushed that.
It broke the barriers.
It broke the barriers.
Yeah.
They don't care whether they say Selota one Tsiba, Selota one Tsiba, one Tsiba in Xhosa is to jump over something. But it doesn't matter. But that's why in the song I would say, yeah. I mention all these places to say it's still my territory.
Yes.
I will come there and you will listen to me and you shall be moved by great music.
Yeah. Yes, sounds from Selaelo Selota. Try not to lose your mind. Sick. This song, I don't know. I've seen every time I hear it, I lose my mind. What inspired the song?
It's a combination of things, but the biggest contributor was my grandfather.
Okay.
My grandfather used to sing this song when he sings to his children, my mother, my uncles. When he's happy, really happy, he used to tell a story that he used to work in Gauteng, in Johannesburg, and he was one of the gang members called Malaita. Malaita are the ones that you see, they fight bare-knuckled. They still practice that in Venda. Every festive December, there's a tournament of bare-knuckle fighters called Malaita, Musangwe. So my grandfather says he used to tell a story. This is from his story, that when he was here, he used to be one of the best guys to fight. And when he's in the halls, he used to hit so hard, and then he would celebrate. He says, because they know him. Yeah, like Machale is an the old timers, those who've been there before. Machale apatele ko munyako. They don't pay to get inside. Ke munyako wati miti. This hall, the halls where they were fighting. So, and then he had his own way. I had to reshuffle it when I was in Cape Town. He says, "Munyako wati miti uzanwa kashele. Machale apatele ko munyako." You see that was his vibe. But I was learning. I was at UCT. I was playing and learning jazz, and I grabbed my guitar and I played this nice, rich minor ninth chords. And I thought I could change the melody a little bit, which will still give it an old time feel, as if I'm actually reiterating or singing like an old person. And I performed the song. The day I performed the song with Musa Manzini on bass and Clement Benny on drums and Sylvester Mazinyane on piano, I felt the band was rocked a little bit, losing the grip of the tempo. And I looked back, and it was one of the band members saying, "Oh, Smiley, So I got a bit offended. I got off. I was performing at a concert on the Mound.
Okay. Yes.
And fortunately, after that performance, the new SRC, they were voting for a new SRC, which won. And after the ones that won, they wanted me to come and perform this song at Upper Campus, so that they can say to their counterpart, so I said, wow, this is a hook. It caught fire right there.
Yeah.
And then I said no. And because these people embraced it. These are future professionals. If UCT has got an intake of 14,000 students, and I'm there for 4 years, therefore, over the 4 years, how many people will know me to be playing this song?
Yeah.
I've got a dedicated client out there who's going to buy this song.
And easy marketing for yourself.
Yes.
Well, it worked because this song is a classic. I know I have you in studio to chat about your upcoming performance at the Moreleta Park tribute concert that's happening on the 2nd of September. What can people expect?
You know,
is your six-pack going to be showing?
Many. No, but you know what? For many years, the tribute concert Moreleta Park is coming. It will be celebrating 20th anniversary, 20 years.
Yeah.
And over the years, I have witnessed the festival hosting the heroes. So it's tribute, Moreleta Park tribute heroes tribute concert.
Yeah.
So it has always profiled the legends. And you have to be realistic, really. At what stage do you usher in the new generation? So over the past 20 years, I've seen the legends performing there, and it has given me an opportunity to actually observe and absorb and what makes them legendary. So now, in the 20th anniversary of this festival, I look at the lineup. I'm with Ringo, Lira is there, they've got the Young Saints, they've got Robbie Malinga, and so on. I'm looking at what is actually the brand saying to me. Is it time that I'll be celebrated and honored every year, or what?
Yeah.
So I'm getting into this. The excitement is that I'm both ways.
Okay.
I have to perform like a tribute to a hero kind of performer, and at the same time, the fire. What people don't know is that Moreleta Park is one of my hunting grounds. I started performing at Moreleta Park before I went to UCT.
This is TransAfrica Radio.